Veterans are back in court with a class action suit over the much-hated lump sum payment. We spoke to Don Sorkaran, the lawyer representing the veterans in this case, earlier today about how the government has been performing on this file.
What you've got now is an approach that's sort of akin to an insurance company interpreting a contract, rather than the approach that we ended up with Erin O'Toole and with the Liberal Party when they ran the campaign. They were talking about what's good for veterans. Now we're back into a what is this linguistic word mean here or there.
Growing anger towards the Liberal government from veterans is beginning to boil over after the government failed to fulfill a promise to bring back the full pension for veterans, which many were hoping would be in the budget. They've also denied veterans hospital care for a 94-year-old World War II veteran, and today they are back in court to battle with Afghan veterans whose lawyer we just spoke to. Veterans Affairs Minister Kent Hehr joins me now. You know, Minister, I'm hearing from a lot of veterans on a daily basis they think your government is bungling this file. What do you say to that?
Well, I can say we're working very hard to get veterans the benefits and services they were denied for so long under the former government. And we made historic strides in this in Budget 2016, which was based upon the aggressive mandate letter given to me by our Prime Minister. We fulfilled 6 of those promises, presenting $5.6 billion in financial security to veterans and their families. We're frankly very proud of that. We remain committed to all items on our mandate letter, including the return to an option for a lifelong pension for our veterans. And I can say we're working extremely hard to do this. We've only been elected for 8 months, and I can tell you we're doing very good things to make our sacred obligation to our veterans who have served and sacrificed so much for this nation.
Yeah, Minister, you put out a statement earlier today where you talked about that sacred obligation, but at the same time, justice lawyers in the Federal Justice Department are in court arguing that there isn't a sacred obligation to veterans in the Equitas case. How can there be that kind of contradiction between the public rhetoric and what's being said in this court case?
Well, let's remember that court case was filed by veterans against the former government at a time when they believed they were not being heard.
But it's now against your government.
This government is listening. And this government is listening by fulfilling our sacred obligation, were our promises we made in the election to veterans and their families to better their lives. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Then why are you back in court, though? If you promised that you also weren't going to go to court with these veterans, this is a government appeal that has landed in court today.
But if we look at the lawsuit in the main, it has a plaintiff and a defendant. Only plaintiffs can drop a lawsuit. So in any event, what I need to concentrate and what our government is concentrating on is delivering services to veterans, whether that be in employment opportunities, educational opportunities, more support for families, reopening offices, hiring back staff.
So let's talk about some of that support. A 94-year-old World War II veteran is denied care at a veterans hospital. Can't you as the minister just make a phone call and say, come on, where's the common sense here?
Well, I can tell you this. Veterans Affairs does not own or operate any hospitals. What we do is we provide long-term care for over 6,400 veterans across this nation in 1,500 different locations. And this includes our allied veterans. And we're working very hard to get them all the care they need where and when they need it. And I can also say we support veterans in their home with extensive home care, lawn care, any care they need to try and build their lives and make their lives better.
But this is a case of one particular veteran who is saying he needs this care. His family's saying he needs this care. You're telling us that veterans get care, but he's not getting care. And in fact, there was veterans out protesting over the treatment of them. So we're hearing one thing from the government, but we're hearing something else in particular cases. The lawsuit, this 94-year-old vet, it seems like there's 2 totally different lines of reasoning.
Well, here's what we do in our department. We do our best to ensure veterans are getting the care they need where and when they need it. And our department works very hard to do that. We can't always get a veteran his first choice, but we work with them and the families to get the care they need. And I'm extremely proud of the work we continue to do with all veterans, supporting 6,400 veterans across this nation in 1,500 care locations across.
But surely, as the minister, you can fix this. I mean, we can recite statistics all day, but this is a case of an actual individual who is not getting the care that his family says he needs.
We wouldn't be having this conversation if it was in my authority to do so. What I can say is that we are working hard to get veterans the care they need in long-term locations across this country. And in the main, veterans want to live in the communities where they built their lives. And we're doing a really good job in ensuring that. Yes, there are cases out there where it doesn't always work out, but we are working hard to get them an option that suits their lives, that builds their lives with their families.
Okay.
And I can tell you, our department is working hard on this. We'll continue to fulfill our mandate items we campaigned on. We've had a very good start to that, delivering $5.6 billion in financial security to veterans.
But not some of the key points.
I think that's very important. We're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs. We're on an aggressive mandate. We're going to deliver for veterans and their families.
Well,
that's my commitment.
We will certainly hope to have you back to see if you make that commitment, Minister. We appreciate your time and your explanation today.
Well, I thank you for having me on the show, and have a wonderful weekend.
And if you want to see the full interview with the veterans lawyer in the Equitas case, which has landed back in court today, that will be available on our website.